Okay, hi everyone. I'm Smithy Q. This here is game 23 of the annotated games section. This is a well-known trap, but as far as I can tell, what we're going to see is the first example of this trap in my database, so it wasn't well known to the amateur white player. So we're going to get standard development so far. White's going to play d4, opening it up, takes, takes. Now, at this point, we need to develop our pieces. We got two options. We got bishop c4, developing and hitting this knight, or we have the other option, bishop goes to b4. Again, developing a bishop makes perfect sense. And now we're also threatening knight takes e4. And it's a little bit awkward to defend this pawn. I mean, ideally, you'd play something like bishop goes to d3, but whoops, you just lost the knight. Okay, that's not very good. And playing f3, that's really weakening. We just had what, 3 games in a row where we saw examples of this diagonal being a weakness. Black is going to be able to castle and then sacrifice a pawn with d5 if he wants. Center is opening up, diagonal's weak. This is very dangerous for white. And so instead, the idea is we're going to exchange the knight and then play bishop goes to d3. And all of this is well known. This has been played hundreds, if not thousands of times. We're going to castle, we're going to castle. And so if we were to just look at it from a pure principle perspective, both sides are developing their pieces. There's no unnecessary pawn moves. Both sides have castle. And after it's Black's turn, he plays d5. Black is playing, actively fighting for the center. And so if I were to tell you, or if you were to ask, what do you think about this position? Is it roughly equal? Is either side better? If you were to say this position is probably equal, you're right. Because again, both sides are doing exactly what they should be doing. It's here where white goes wrong. The correct move is to exchange pawns. The incorrect but very tempting move is to play e5. Because doesn't that look like a much better move? It's coming with tempo, it's hitting the knight. But whenever you advance a pawn like that, your first thought has to be, okay, what happens after the knight moves and the pawn's attacked? How are you going to defend it? In the game, white plays f4. Now, again, we just had about, what, 3 games in a row in which I explored why playing this move really weakens your king, and it really weakens your king even if you castle. Hint, hint. But what are the alternatives? Are you going to play something like rook e1 to defend the pawn? Well, then, at any time, we've got this bishop knight attacking on f2, and this is really, really awkward. All right. Uh, After bishop f4, which is probably the best move, black can play f6. I'm just going to win the pawn. Again, this doesn't work, and so you're probably stuck simply exchanging. So do you see what happened? White has ended up playing he brought his pawn to e5, and then he's exchanged. And what's he gained in instead? He's lost his center pawn. Black actually has 3 pawns more or less in the center. White actually he has an open file for his king, and he's got a lot of pressure being able to stare down on f2. So black's doing better in this position, much better. Black is doing like extraordinarily well. But f4, doesn't f4 look really, really good? Really, really common. And the problem is, it's funny. It's 10 moves, and white is completely lost, all because of the king. He did the development right. He more or less did the center right, but it's the king now safety which is going to cost him. And after queen goes to h4, we've seen something similar in some of the videos, or some of the game analysis, where if we were to look just sort of on the king side, how many white pieces are there? None. Okay, yes, there's a rook, but as we've established, a rook on the back rank, it doesn't really defend anything. It often just takes away squares. And it's very, very easy to get a very big attack when there's no defenders. Well, here's the attack. We're hitting h2. How on earth do you defend that? Well, we're going to play h3, right? Kick the knight away. Everything's okay. We got check, pushes the king in the corner, and then look at this lovely move. Queen goes to g3. If you don't do anything white, I'm going to plot my king on h2, and that's checkmate. Again, you can't run because of the bishop. And again, remember how this rook is taking away flight squares? The king can't. I mean, it wouldn't work because that'd be checkmate as well. But again, the rook is stopping the king from running. Queen goes to g3, threatening mate. And then after takes, we can just slide the queen right back. There's this lovely little zigzag with the queen, and it's a complete checkmate. Wow. Uh, I've actually had the privilege of playing this. My opponent resigned without letting me do the checkmate, which I've always thought was a little bit like, come on. It's two moves. Let me play the checkmate. But I've actually played this before. If you look at online, this is actually a common idea. White sees e4, white sees f4. But again, whenever you're going to play that move, whether you've castled or not, you've got to ask, what about my king? And we can see here, we've got the check, and we've got the queen, and we got the complete paucity of defenders near the white king. That's trouble. And so, a warning again, white played what? Eight great moves in the opening, then e5 wasn't great, and then f4 loses. That's how fast things can change. Um, and this is also, it's nice because this is a rare example from the black side. But there we go. A nice, quick, simple, it's easy, I hope, to understand how this works. We got two games left. So thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.